Hello and welcome to my 3 top tips of the day. Today I'm going to give 3 general business tips. Not everybody knows this, but in the UK around 85% of all businesses fail in the first 5 years. So that's 1.5 in 10 survive after 5 years. The rest give up, fail, pack in, go bust, whatever. So if you want to avoid being one of the 8.5 in every 10, then here's some top tips for you. So tip number 1, the reason most businesses fail in the first year is because of cash flow problems. Often businesses spend more than they make. So my tip number 1 would be, don't spend money on things for your business unless you definitely need them. Something I always say, it's a lot easier to spend money than it is to make money. So you should always think, do I need this for my business before buying something? If you actually buy things that you don't need and you end up spending more than you make, then it's a quick way of going out of business. So don't spend on anything that you want. Spend your money on things that you need and things that's going to help you to grow your business and make more money. Things like sales and marketing services is a good one, because sales and marketing services will bring you in more customers. So therefore, replacing the money it costs. Also, taking on salespeople is another good way of spending money, because a good salesperson should bring in more than he costs, meaning that it allows you more money to grow. You shouldn't be spending money on things you can't afford until you can afford them, until the business is running, making the money it should make. The average successful business takes about 75 grand's worth of investment. So, you do need to spend money, but spend it on things that's going to make you more money and make you a success in the long term, rather than wasting it on cars and assets and stuff you don't need, which is the surefire way of putting yourself out of business. So tip number 1, don't spend any money on anything you don't need. Spend your money on things that's going to help you to make more money. So tip number 2, like I said, 85% of businesses fail in the first 5 years. A lot of that is because people waste money and they spend it on things they don't. But another one is on the fact that they don't make enough money. They don't make enough sales. At the end of the day, if you're making enough sales, it doesn't really matter what you're spending money on. As long as you don't spend more money than you make, then you can survive in business. Tip number 2 is to make more sales. Now, a lot of people, when they're starting out in business, they worry about all sorts of things. They worry about having this in place and that in place, and having accountants, and making a profit and not spending money, and having all sorts of things, really, when ultimately your business is going to survive or die on the fact of whether you've got new customers or not. So the first focus, your real focus, until you've got a good supply of customers, should be on, how do I get more customers? That should be your focus. So tip number 2 is concentrate all your efforts and your energy on bringing in more customers. Forget about everything else in business. All of those other business problems can be resolved if you've got more money to spend on resolving them. So bringing more customers should be your focus for any business. There's lots of different ways of bringing in and targeting more customers, and you should be looking to do as many as you can until you've got enough customers that you don't need any more. So that's tip number 2. Tip number 3, if you want to sort of survive in business, is you've got to get out there and build your database, build your connections, build your potential customer portfolio, build your contacts, build your trusted supplier database. You need to build your connections. So if you want to survive in business, my tip number 3 would be to get out into the world, get out of your office, get out of your home if you're a home-based worker, get out on a regular basis, go to networking events, go to business seminars, go to exhibitions, go to trade events, Go to sports and social events on the weekend where you're going to bump into and rub shoulders with other business people. Get yourself out there. If you don't know many people, you're not going to survive in business. So, you need to find people who could potentially be staff, potential suppliers, potential customers, partners, all these sort of people. You can't find these people sat at home or sat in the office, just on the computer. You're not going to find people that way. Unless you're, doing social media, LinkedIn and that sort of thing. You can find some of these people on those platforms, and that is a good place to start. But there's nothing better than meeting people in the real world, shaking hands, building relationships, and adding people to the various different parts of your business that you need in order to grow. Finding an accountant, finding a salesperson, finding a supplier, stationery supplier. All these people are out there. You need to get out there, build your contacts, build your connections, and meet these people. So that's my 3 tips for business. If you want to be a business that survives the first 5 years and make it to the top 1.5% of all the businesses, then that's my tips. If you are a business that have gone beyond 5 years, then pat yourself on the back, congratulate yourself. You're now in the top 1.5% of people who managed to make it in business. So now you just got to get to the top 1% where the real money's at. Thank you very much for listening to my top business tips, and look forward to connecting with you again sometime. All the best. Cheers. Bye-bye.